Making the Move to Online Learning for Fifth Graders by Pamela Grizzle. Several things will be presented today, such as the background of Carnesville Elementary, the funding, the staffing, the incorporation of the Franklin County model into this online program, the implementation of the program, and some sample activities. When planning for the program, there were several things I had to keep in mind, one of which was the background information for Carnesville Elementary. It's one school that's operating from two buildings that are approximately 3 miles apart in a rural farming community in Carnesville. There's one shared principal, one shared assistant principal, and one counselor who rotate back and forth between the schools. There's 22 certified teachers with 10 support staff. 450 students, with 14% of those being labeled as special needs and 57% economically disadvantaged. These statistics make our school a Title I school. We operate on a 160-day calendar, reduced from 180 days due to budget constraints. Given the budget constraints that our county is facing, you may be asking, how will this program be funded? The cost of implementing a blended learning environment within Carnesville Intermediate is minimal compared to implementing a fully integrated e-learning program. What this means is, through the blended learning environment, students will work at school face-to-face as well as complete tasks at home online. Some of the ways that funds can be raised for this program is through writing grants, through the county's Ed Bryant grant, a special purpose local option sales tax, also known as SPLOST, and by fundraising. Keeping in mind our budget constraints, I've been able to narrow down the responsibilities into 4 roles. The first role is the program director. This person will act as the administrator over the online program. Some of the responsibilities include planning, organizing, managing, staffing, leading, and controlling the program. The second role is the technology specialist, of which we already have in our school. The technology specialist will guide the team into making an informed decision on the types of technologies and the infrastructure needed. She will also keep the program running smoothly once it is implemented. The curriculum specialist, also known as our academic coach, will ensure that the program is in line and adequately addresses the Common Core standards. The fourth role, and the most important role, is the instructor. The instructor could be the current 5th grade teachers, or if so desired, could be a hired instructor who already has experience in the online setting. At this point, you may be asking yourself, how does the online program fit the Franklin County model? In the Franklin County model, some of the things that are stated for the teacher's role is that the teacher will be a coach and a facilitator and give a gradual release of responsibilities to the students. The teacher will model and scaffold the tasks, the behaviors, and the way of thinking. The teacher will nurture positive relationships and will design differentiated, relevant, and rigorous work. The student will create performance-based products, demonstrate engagement, engage in conversations about learning, and make decisions about their own learning. In essence, what the Franklin County model is doing, as well as what the online program promotes, is a move from prescriptive learning to emergent learning. In prescriptive learning, the teacher is directing the learning with predetermined objectives, and there are distinct guidelines for assessment. In emergent learning, the student is directing the learning, and there's flexibility in the objectives and the development of the artifacts that show mastery. In the next slide, I will present to you 2 e-learning theories that are suited for the online program, which promotes the move from prescriptive learning to emergent learning. Within the Franklin County model is Assessment for Learning. Assessment for Learning expects the students to be able to set criteria for their assignments, self-assess their work, peer review, and use feedback for improvement. The connectivist theory is based on the idea that learning takes place through establishing connections. and these connections can be made in the minds of individuals as well as among others within the learning community. Self-regulated learning is where the students use personal and social self-regulated learning. The personal self-regulated learners are metacognitive learners who are focused on the self-evaluation and the skills development. And the social e-learners participate more in online discussions, seek the assistance from peers, the mentors, or professors, and use peer feedback to make corrections to the assignments. So as you can see, both of these tie into assessment for learning. Now I'll discuss what the implementation of the online program will look like. This includes the enrollment process, the orientation for both parents and students, mentoring for students, special activities and/or the resources that will be needed to run the program, internet safety considerations, some sample activities, and the evaluation process of the online program. All 5th grade students at Carnesville Intermediate will be automatically enrolled into the program. I understand that not all students have internet access at home, which is why it was developed to be a blended learning course. Accommodations will be made for those students who do not have internet access at home to complete the assignments at school in the computer lab. With the enrollment process, a contract or an agreement will be developed for teachers, students, and parents to be signed before the beginning of the class that outlines the roles and responsibilities of each person. The orientation process will be such as students and parents will attend an orientation before the start of the class. This will give parents an opportunity to learn about the program through a slideshow that will be presented and ask any questions they may have about the expectations of the course. Students will have a separate introduction into the class during the first week of the program. This will be completed through icebreaker activities that will allow the students to get to know each other, start building that learning community, and get used to the technology that will be used in the program. In deciding the special activities and the resources that will be utilized during this course, I took into account that Carnesville Intermediate School is a Title I school due to its socioeconomic status. For this reason, the computer lab will be available for those students who do not have access at home or cannot get to an area or a place that would have internet access for them to work. The teacher will be available in the computer lab during this time to act as a facilitator for those students who are new to online learning. Also, Moodle will be used as the platform in the class. On the next slide, I'll explain a little bit more to you about what Moodle is and how it can be utilized. Other resources that can and will be utilized in this course include MyBrainShark, Animoto, Wikispace, and Google Docs. The great thing about Moodle is that it has all the features of a high-dollar e-learning platform. However, it's very cost efficient. It has the capability to be very wide scale and host hundreds of thousands of students, or it can be used for a small primary or intermediate school like ours. The theoretical framework of Moodle is such that students gain knowledge by building learning communities among peers, which allows the teachers to become facilitators in learning instead of the source of information. Again, this theoretical framework goes back to the Franklin County model in that we want assessment for learning and we want communities of learners. Because safety is of utmost importance for our students, there are several internet safety considerations that were made during the development of this course. Before students even begin their online experience, they will attend a course taught by the CHAMPS resource officer that teaches internet safety. They'll also complete lessons from the Goodwill Community Foundation and complete a teacher-created lesson. We will also send pamphlets home for parents to review so that they are aware of safety tips online. In the sample activity before you, called Applying Equivalent Fractions, students will work individually to solve real-world word problems dealing with equivalent fractions. Once the students have completed the problems, they will join a Google Hangout chat with their learning community to discuss their understandings of the word problems. This provides the students with the time to clear up any misunderstandings that they may have about equivalent fractions. The purpose of piloting a program is to evaluate its effectiveness and figure out ways to make it better. To do this, an anonymous survey will be administered to all who have an invested interest in the online program. This includes administrators, community members, teachers, parents, and most importantly, the students. The results of this anonymous survey will be used to revise the program for the following year or years to come. If you have any questions about this online program, please don't hesitate to ask. Thank you for your time and consideration today.